Women's mid-card championships are in progress. Saw this tweet from PWN Reports. It's been something that's already been introduced in NXT with the North American Championship held by Kalani Jordan. It feels like we're behind the 8 ball when it comes to the main roster. Like, it hasn't been introduced. And I get, with timing of shows, and there's so much to put on the shows, and it's so hot right now. So I get that. But I mean, take a person like Michin. Like, that is a perfect person to have as a secondary champion, where she's borderlining that, or no, not even, kind of borderline, because she's in these championship matches, but because she's not winning them, it's like, all right, well, where's she going? She's kind of in that purgatory. This gives her legitimacy. I need to see mid-card championships, and it needs to happen.
I think that they were kind of testing it in NXT, and that's why they did it, because it's like, if it flopped in NXT, then it didn't flop on the main roster, and it's a lot easier for people to ignore things ever existed in NXT, because they could just be like, oh yeah, we were just testing it, like, we're developmental, so like, we're developing, that I think is what it is. And I think they're showing that it's been working. Like, people are invested in what Kalani Jordan is doing and whoever she's facing. And I also think that putting this on the main roster would be so good for all of the people who are constantly complaining, especially right now, about this Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley thing, focusing too much on Judgment Day and not the women's title. Okay, well, if this were going to continue with any story, it doesn't have to be just Liv and Rhea, but any story, at least then they could have the mid-card title being defended, or people fighting over that every single week. You know what I mean? Like, then that would kind of take the pressure off of them needing to force matches or whatever they need to do with stories like Liv and Rhea's. At least then it was like, all right, well, we're still seeing a women's match that feels worthy, and they're actually fighting for something. That feels to be better, and it also gives more opportunities for the women to be on TV every single week, and women that we want to see, because the rosters are only getting bigger and the shows are allegedly only going to get longer, which means that that's going to give more time for people to be on TV, and that should include the women. So giving them mid-card titles, it just feels like a no-brainer. And we've talked about this so much. We've talked about it over the last 2 years since we've been doing this. We've been demanding that they bring in mid-card titles basically since the beginning.
A year,
yeah. So I hope that this is true, but I think NXT was like a lab rat, and they're seeing that it's working. And again, Triple H allegedly looks online and looks at Twitter and what people are saying, and if that's the case, then he knows that they want mid-card women's titles. So